looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight with a low of 6 below, then Wednesday a chance of snow with a high of 11. Valentine's Day is coming up. Make it special with a meal from a locally owned Eat Local Minnesota restaurant. Whether it's a romantic dinner or a casual date night, our restaurant partners are ready to make it delicious and memorable. Find the perfect spot for your Valentine's celebration at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
King Abdullah at the White House today. Ahead of the meeting, Trump threatened to cut off U.S. aid to Jordan and to Egypt unless the two countries agree to take in the more than 2 million Palestinians Trump is seeking to permanently expel from Gaza.
There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on this Tuesday evening. You might be confused. You might think it's a Wednesday evening, and we'll explain why in a second, but it is, in fact, a Tuesday evening, and this is going to be a very interesting program tonight. But beforehand, I got to tell you, I'm a big collector of Blu-rays and DVDs, and a big fan of. Have you ever heard of the Warner Archive? It's they have a lot of like very archival, wonderful releases, and they just came out with. This shows how geeky I am. If you didn't know this already, has the Tom and Jerry CinemaScope collection, and I was really looking forward to this, and I got it today, and I put it in my Blu-ray player so I can fall asleep to it tonight. And I couldn't find the remote for my Blu-ray player in my bedroom. And I'm like, well, where the heck is this? I mean, I've used this before. What's going on? So I thought, oh, well, maybe it fell between my mattress and kind of the I want to say guardrail. I don't need a guardrail in my bed. Let's just put it. I don't know what else you call it, like a little outside of the mattress sort of thing, I guess. And I found it. I put my hand between. I found it and I pulled it out, and it was in fact a K2 meter. And I don't understand how a K2 meter. Why is it in my bed? For those who aren't seeing this on the video portion, a K2 reader is a piece of paranormal equipment, and it was in between my mattress and the border of my bed. I don't understand, but I just found it really interesting. What's even more exciting about this is now I have a K2 meter that I can actually start using again. And the thing is about this, at my last private investigation I did with Shar, I actually gave away a K2 because they needed it. The household needed it. So I wanted to make sure that they had something, and I just gave them my K2. It's like you give and you receive, I guess. And I'm really excited. It actually works really well. So I'm just really excited to share that with everybody. And I hope that you all find a K2 meter in your bed tonight. I guess that's really all I'm trying to get at here. Tonight's going to be very interesting. First of all, tonight our guest is none other than Refined Divine Psychic Medium Deb. She is joining us tonight. We are not doing any sort of one-question readings tonight. We will be back with that a week from tomorrow, where we'll be doing one question readings. But what I like to do is I like to bring Deb on and have her share about her experiences in her life, because she has had quite the life. And to what makes a person who they are now, you have to go through an awful lot. And that's what we're going to be talking about here with Deb. And, we think that this could be a accident prone evening, in the sense that things might go wrong. The internet has already been kind of screwy with us. What we're going to be talking about tonight, things don't always want us to talk about certain things. And what we're talking about tonight is Deb's experiences with possession, and possession meaning being taken over. And we're going to break that down a little bit more. It's Deb's story to tell, multiple stories. If you're watching the video portion of it, we're going to show some pictures throughout the program. So if you're listening on the radio, just know you could always go to either the AM 950 Facebook page, or you can go to GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun and watch this live as well. And if you come to my page, please like it as well. Deb, welcome to GhostBox Radio. It's so nice to have you with us tonight.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Well, and so what one of the things that we're trying to do here, of course, and it's something that you had suggested, and I think this has really been incredible. We've only done it one other time, is that you're going to share experiences that you've had. And this is, I look at this as another way of giving back. Just as the one question readings is a way to give back and be able to help people, your experiences also is a way to help people as well.
Absolutely. And that's the core reason why we want to share with us. When Spirit was talking to us about really sharing what possession is and how to protect yourself from it and how to acknowledge it and how to know when it's happening, because it does happen more than people think it does. And nothing that we are going to share tonight is meant to scare you or make you feel like you are unsafe, because we are always safe. And that is the truth, that we always have divine protection, and we always can call on our soul self, our ancestors, God himself, Spirit, ground ourselves. And there's always a way that we can come back into alignment with being safe. And so please just know that we're not trying to scare you or deter you from, connecting with Spirit or being with Spirit or having Spirit in your life. It's just there's some things that you need to be aware of, especially if you're gifted and you are aligning with things that are happening like this. We want you to know that you are not alone. A lot of times, none of this stuff is talked about because people like to keep it quiet. They don't want people to think they're crazy. They feel like, oh, wow, I must be really awful because this happened to me. Absolutely not. Things like this are happening all the time.
It's a really good point, and I appreciate you reminding folks that this isn't a scare tactic. This is something that can help, because what you're going to be talking about can happen, and I'm not here. I'm saying don't be frightened or anything, but then I'm fear mongering. It could happen to anybody if you're not careful.
Yeah, you do need to be careful, and that's the thing. And throughout my life, like you said earlier, we've been through the H and back. We've been through it. We've been through the ruins, and we were an alcoholic for 7 years, and we exposed ourselves to low level energies when we use our body, which is our vessel, our house of God, and we use this body and we put ailments in it, like we put alcohol or drugs, or we're using things to dilute our brain and allow our bodies to become open vessels. And when we're like in places like bars or where a lot of low energies love to hang out, because they can do that, taking over the body very easily, because you're not in charge. You're very not in your body. So when somebody is taking a large amount of alcohol and becoming very intoxicated where they don't remember, perhaps, or people will say, wow, they just acted really crazy. They were out of that mind that night, and nothing they were doing acted or seemed like it was them. It's because it wasn't. And that's the truth. We do have a lot of walk-ins, especially when it comes to alcohol and overindulging in alcohol. Now, we're not here to say don't drink, don't do it. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that when you're over intoxicated, you are opening up your body and saying yes to these low lying energies, and you're lowering that frequency of your body to where it's going to align with those low lying energies. Now, Greg, I provided you with 2 pictures.
Sure.
One is of me before I was drinking that night. Very pretty eyes. If we can show that one.
Sure. Let me make sure I'm going to the right one here. Let's see here. Let's see which
My face
one
is large.
is it? And if I get it wrong, I apologize.
That's
Don't
okay.
fire.
It's okay.
Let's
No
see
worries.
here.
We won't fire you.
All right. Is this it?
Yes. So this
Okay.
is the picture that we were going out that night. That's the picture before we were intoxicated. Now,
Mhm.
as you can see, very clear-eyed, face looks normal, looks like we did our makeup feeling really good, ready to have a good time. And now the picture that you're going to show is going to be of me with the girl where my face is morphed and my eyes are black.
Let me see if I'm getting to the right that one.
There it is.
Yeah. You know, and I was just going to say, Deb, you shared this one with me before, and the thing that gets me on this is, obviously you're right, the black eyes, but also the kind of the grin on your face.
Yes.
That's not you.
No, that is not me. And so when we see the glaring of the eyes like this, and this is not the coloring of the picture, this is not the lighting of the picture. This is the eyes actually look black, and there'll be like a film that goes over the person's eyes. And so we call this blackout mode, right? So people will say, "Oh my God, they had black eyes and they were just raging." So this night in particular, I had blacked out and I was actually running down the street, and they had all kinds of stories about me trying to hurt people. And my God, I've never hurt anybody in my whole life, ever. And never
Wow.
would I ever intend to hurt anybody. But that night, they said I was out for blood. And so what had happened is somebody had given me a alcoholic drink that was a shot that was illegal in the United States. I cannot remember to the life of me. Say it
Is it
again.
absence?
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Mm.
They had given me that, and this is what happened. My body was open to walk-ins, and so that is a picture right there of a walk-in.
Can I just quickly? I want to go back to the before picture because look at
Sure.
the eyes. The eyes are just a completely different color.
Yes.
That's something. That's
The
something.
face is even morphed. If you look at
It
the
is.
face and the way
Yeah.
that the lips are and the face is, and if you notice also pictures when being possessed or being taken over has a weird almost energy to the picture itself. It's like the skin looks blurred, where that's normal. And then you look at the other picture and it looks fuzzy. People will often catch pictures of people with walk-ins and the face will be fuzzy like that, or the picture itself will be fuzzy or blurred.
It's incredible. And the thing about this too is that you're talking about the you're talking about like having the alcohol and stuff. And would it be safe to say, when you're an alcoholic, you're at your low anyway, so that vibration is already super low, and when you're feeding that stuff into you, it takes you even lower, and that really opens you up for that sort of those walk-ins or whatever else.
That's absolutely right, Greg. And a lot of times when these walk-ins are going to happen, we'll hear crazy things. Like when I was really low energy and I was in my alcohol days, I would hear things like drink the Drano, pick up the knife, take the pills. I would hear all kinds of voices that would be very low frequency. And so if you're already hearing that and you're going to add substances to that, you're going to go at a dangerously low level.
Do you think, especially if they're telling you, and I know that it's not just you, it's other people that this has happened to as well, but considering where you've turned yourself around, what you do now, do you think that these entities who are telling you drink the Drano, pick up the knife, all that stuff, that they were very well aware of where you were heading and they didn't want that?
Oh, absolutely. They knew exactly who I was, a being of
Mhm.
enlightenment that had a path of greatness. And God always told me, and I had many saints in human skin come to me, telling me that my life purpose and my life path, and that I was destroying what was supposed to be mine, and that I was not around people that I was supposed to be with. And they would see me with a group of people, and there'd be somebody that was a higher frequency, very enlightened, be like, what the H are you doing with these people? Like, you don't
Mhm.
belong here. They're like, you have such beauty about the inside of your soul, and it just shines, and you're so gifted. We know you're a psychic. I mean, many people all the time throughout my bartending days, teaching days, waitressing days, cleaning houses, so many signs, so many people always trying to redirect me back to that path. But the important part of this, that God loves us, and he always would tell us that no matter our decisions, because we had free choice, that he loved us regardless. And that with every experience that we had would bring greatness later in our life. So no experience was ever considered bad. He would always tell us that every experience that we were having would be used for greater good. And, never really understood that when I was in the midst of it. And I never understood what spirit was trying to tell me. But now in my 40s, I really understand it, Greg, because a lot of people that come to us are very gifted individuals who abuse substances.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've had the hard life too. Do you get a lot of people, especially when you talk about your experiences of the walk-ins, the possession? Do you get a lot of them telling you, "I've had the same thing"?
Oh, absolutely. They open up, and we won't use names. We'll never share anybody's story without the permission, but they open up and they share experiences about walking out of their house naked, and they open their eyes and they have a knife in their hand and they don't know what they're doing, and they have no idea why they're there. And, I mean, all kinds of crazy things happen to people, and they're just like so happy to have somebody understand them and who gets it. And I do get it. And I do not judge anybody for
Mm-mm.
any of their experiences that they've ever been through, because we completely understand. I mean, there was experiences where I would look in the mirror and I would just look at my face and be like, I do not look like myself. What is going on? And I would have thoughts that I knew that were weird. And I was like, how do I even get rid of this, God? What are you trying to teach me here? And he would always just say, trust in us and believe in yourself. Trust in us and believe in yourself. And I never understood what that meant back then. But it,
Yeah,
it, it means that when you are your true self and with self-love and strengthful in yourself, that nothing else can walk in. It's when you don't believe in yourself and that you don't connect with your divine soul, and you become almost like an alien to your own body, that you
right.
allow things to walk in.
Absolutely, and you reject good, actually. I mean, whatever
Yes.
good looks like to you. I mean, it's not meant to be a religious statement, but you're rejecting good, and maybe it's being good to yourself for that matter.
Yeah, and rejection to self-worthiness, and
Yeah,
rejection to anything that you believe that you should have, and that madness and that anger and rage that comes from feeling like you don't have what you deserve. And having that jealousy of others can also create that doorway for things to come in and walk in. And so you just have to be real careful with your emotions, and what you're believing and what you're thinking, and all the things. And like I said, we're not trying to scare you. It's just really important that you understand.
why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's go ahead, take our first break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. I think even with the last thing you just said, we can really blow that out quite a bit as well. And also, anyone who has any questions, put it in the comments. We have a lot to talk about here with Refined Divine Psychic Medium Deb. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
What you wear is important. It should be fun, creative, and expressive of your own personality. At Grady Gear Company, we believe that clothing is more than just fabric and threads. It's a form of self-expression and a way to stand out from the crowd. Grady Gear is more than just a clothing brand. We're a community. We're here to inspire and motivate you to embrace your true self. We are a locally owned small business who do custom clothing orders too. Find us at GradyGearCompany.com.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
And welcome back to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are talking with psychic medium Refined Divine Deb tonight. And just as a programming note, as a reminder, we're not doing any one-question readings or any readings at all tonight. Deb was going to be back next Wednesday, the 19th, and she will be doing one-question readings and whatnot. And well, when I say we, I mean her. And it's going to be great. But tonight we're a little bit more serious tonight, to be perfectly honest. We're talking about possession, and I'm going to be honest, Deb. I've had a lot of technical difficulties tonight that I can't even trace. I'm kind of curious about that. Before we went on the air, we talked about this a little bit as well.
Yeah, so we were bringing up the pictures that we were going to use for tonight, and we could not find 90% of them. They just seem to have disappeared, dissolved. I'm not sure. Well, we both know that there's always divine intervention. Sometimes it's not of the light. And so, but we're willing to take the karma for it. It's okay. We're always we're always the one out there stepping forward and making an example. So it's okay.
You are.
Dave's over here. I am not willing to take the karma on this.
It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo over there with Dave. He's like, no. I'm not doing that. Yeah. He was like, come on, Dave. God's sake.
Truth.
And that's just it. And I've seen this many times when we do, like, when I've done anything that has to do with, and we're not going to use the D word because I don't think everything that we're talking about tonight is necessarily a demonic walk-in or intervention. Am I right there?
Absolutely correct. So these are disembodied souls that are in the in-between world. And so a lot of them are very confused and trapped, and they were addicts themselves. And so all they know is that high, and they're looking for that high. And that's what I see a lot of when I go into a bar setting where there's alcohol, is we'll find a lot of people that are of that frequency. And we say people, we mean dead people.
And, first, just wanted to quickly get this out there. Heather says Scooby Dave. So that's good. Scooby
Ruh-roh.
Doo. Yeah. I also think about the people who might be going out for and I know that this isn't all alcohol related. This isn't a PSA to not drink.
Mm-mm. No,
But
it can be just low frequency, like being in a depressed state and
right.
not guarding the body and disembodiment. And so when somebody doesn't want to be in their body and is always, trying to project themselves in the past or into the future and not staying present and really like well, almost say like in an imaginary world, right? Where because they
Yeah.
just really don't like their life and they are consistently in their brain and not in their body and not grounded. We'll find this happens to people who are very gifted that are doing that also, but have a lot of trauma in their pasts.
Well, and I was thinking about people who even are just they're going out for a night, and that they are they're not, they don't do it often or whatever else, but it might be a certain night where they really let themselves drink a lot, really let themselves kind of go, and it's when you least expect it as well, that stuff like that I could presume would happen as well, that even if you're just having a night out but you let it go a little too far, that something might occasionally be there and waiting just for that doorway to get in.
Absolutely. If you want to bring the picture up of me in the yellow where I'm doing a healing on somebody, we'll talk about that particular space and what happened there.
Let me find there we are. Here we are. All
So
right.
in this instance, you can see that there's an actual spirit taking over my body. Now, this week, we had somebody call us, and actually, it was a family member that was very concerned. The bed was shaking at night. They were hearing screaming, knocking, literally feeling paralyzed when they woke up, and we got some interference there. Um,
Yeah.
During that time, that person was very scared, and it was one of my family members. And so I took upon myself to call the spirit towards me, so that way I could take care of it for him because it was becoming very dangerous for him, and he had no idea what he was doing. So that week, I also had a show. And
Yeah.
this picture was caught of me. And as you can see, it was trying to be intrusive to my body at that
Mhm.
point, and it was caught. And that's what that picture is. As you can see, the person that I'm working with, there's no blurring. Physical appearance is normal. And you look towards me, and my face is missing.
Yeah.
And you can see
Yeah.
everything around is normal.
It's and that was one of the questions I'm going to ask. I've been doing I've been doing some of the fairs with you, but I've been doing over the past 10 years or something paracons, paranormal conventions, and it every single time I will be at my table and I will look, and there is somebody staring uh staring at me at the table, and you could see with their eyes that they're not there, that it's somebody else. And
Yes.
we attract them, don't we?
Yes. Yes, we do. And I got some interference.
What kind of interference are you getting?
I'm getting a disembodied voice on my end. Can you hear it?
I'm going to turn you up.
So when you're talking,
I can hear some.
I'm
I
getting
can hear.
interference. Yeah, I can hear interference trying to talk through. Like we said, things of the dark side don't like us to bring it to the light because they want to be able to do these things. And so when we bring it to the light and show people, this is what happens, protect yourself, watch yourself, all the things, we'll get things that try to stop us from communicating that. But we are always protected by God and the divine light and spirit, and nothing bad is going to happen. They just try to scare us. That's all it
Yeah.
is. It's just a scare tactic. And as you can see, it doesn't budge me.
Well,
And
no.
so Yeah. So with that soul that we brought over to us when my family member was having such a hard time, oh, we dealt with broken glass, we dealt with things flying across the room, like literally a $300 crystal snapped right in two, all kinds of stuff. And the funny part of it is that when Dave heard me talking to the family members, he looked at me and goes, "Don't you dare." I said, "Don't I dare what?" And he was like, "Don't." I was like, I would never. I would never. And so the next day we're at the shop and things are busting and things are falling. And Dave looks at me and goes, "You did." And I was like, "Did what?" And he was like, "Oh, you did it." I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And and I always say don't ever give it any attention because that's the absolute truth. Like,
Yeah.
do not pay attention to it. Do not give it what it wants. Do not act like it's there. Don't give it energy. Pretend like it's not happening. Focus on something else while you're saging and bringing in God and bringing in the light and doing all the things that you do to get rid of things like this. We don't feed it with fear, Dave.
Is this? Do I know who you're talking about? By the way.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. All right.
Yeah, we've
So
talked to you about that soul before.
yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
here's the interesting thing about it too is the one thing that we always do when we do paranormal investigations and private investigations, and that we are trying to tell the client what to do next. And one of the things is what you just said, and that is try not to talk about it amongst yourselves. Try to just you got to give it a rest. Open up the shade, stop making the room look like a mausoleum, get some fresh flowers
Yes.
in there. Try to make this thing, because all it is, it's like a airplane. It's circulating germs basically, and these germs are those entities, those dark entities that don't want to leave, and all it takes is really thinking about it again that brings it back.
That's exactly right. Those thoughts go out and bring that kind of stuff towards you. And so, as we're talking about this, literally in the back of my head, I'm saying cancel, 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 cancel.
Yeah,
Like, we don't want
absolutely.
to pull any of this back in, and we do not want to relive any of this. We are purely just putting this out there for all of you to understand that this thing's happen and what to do and how to protect yourselves from it.
Yeah, it's and that's just it. And I know people are like, you guys are scaring me. They got Chantel in the comments, and she's just like, kind of, and I'm sure she's joking that she's like kind of getting kind of freaked out by what we're talking about. I guess in my mind, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I mean, we're not trying to scare people, but there is a very serious undertone to this that I think a lot of people don't realize, nor do they realize how long something like this could stay with you as well.
Yes, exactly. And so there's also a good side to this. Greg, if you could bring up the picture where it very clearly shows my third eye, we can change
Oh
it up
yeah.
a little bit to show you guys that possession
Sure.
isn't always bad either. We can also be possessed by holy spirits. So here in this picture, we were down in Sedona, Arizona, and we were up at one of the vortexes, and it was the chapel on the hill.
Yeah.
It was the chapel on the hill. And God was speaking to us very loud about how we were the gifted one that was able to see the path to light the way for others, and that this was my divine path. And during this time, I was really double thinking what I was doing, and I wasn't sure this was for me. And I was experiencing a lot of health stuff during this time. Spirit said to me very loudly to take out the picture, to take out my camera and take a picture. And as soon as I brought it up to my face, this is what I saw. And I took the picture. Very clearly, you could see the crown of spirit at the top, and
Yep.
with the sun, and you can see the third eye shining brightly through. And I actually left Sedona, Arizona, ailment free.
It's an incredible picture, and it's a true testament to your abilities as well. It's really incredible. In the comments, Carol Olson says, "Great show tonight, very informative. I would just invite anybody who is watching this and feels that maybe someone in their family or something has any sort of, that they maybe mess with spirit too much, or they might be connected in ways that you're not sure is healthy, to have them watch this and have them pay attention to what's going on. And maybe they might recognize some signs that they have experienced that might mirror some of the stuff that Deb is talking about tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the physical body actually can look different too, Greg. We actually have a before and after picture of the physical body being caught looking completely different. Now, this one really even threw me, Debbie, as a human for a loop. This one was taken in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin at the Hoffman Hall. And it is all around the Hoffman Hall is a prison. And so we experienced a lot of really messed up things there. I and Dave personally were in the basement of the Hoffman Hall. I got locked in one room, could not get out. Dave got locked in another room. I'm literally screaming for Dave. I can hear spirit. I'm trying to block him out. We could not get out of the rooms to get to each other. This was during setup. And so we were already spooked. I mean, before the show even started at Hoffman Hall and Prairie, we're scared out of our minds. And if I'm scared, y'all should run because I don't get scared. And so my insides were really shaking because I'd never had a door lock on me before. And as you're going to see in these pictures, something overtook my body and made me look like a completely different person. The first picture is the regular size of me, Greg. I'll have you put that up.
We're talking, let's see here, because I have...
It's a large crowd.
The large crowd
the gallery picture. Yeah.
Okay, so we got this here.
So as you can see, lovely, fluffy Debbie is my normal body size. And then, so we only noticed this as we were scrolling through these pictures, that I was transformed in this next picture into something completely different.
Is this from a result of somebody in the crowd?
Yes.
That someone brought this with?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
As you can see, morphed, weird, and just wow, what is that?
This is the normal, and going back to the morphed.
You look taller too.
Yeah, and taller.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Yeah, it looks like a giant. Yeah. 5'2" fluffy Debbie. 7 foot skinny Debbie.
It really is something. Did you feel it at the time?
No, I didn't feel it at all. No, not during the gallery at all. It was not until we were scanning through the pictures, we were like, what in the world is that?
So did it leave on its own accord then?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And I believe that it's the person that I'm channeling to that this comes on over.
Okay. Interesting. My goodness. Wow. There's a lot there. I want to do this. I want to get in another break here as we get to the last segment here. Any questions for Deb? Put them in the comments. We are talking about Deb's experience with possession, and you're listening to GhostBox Radio. We'll be right back. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
What you wear is important. It should be fun, creative, and expressive of your own personality. At Grady Gear Company, we believe that clothing is more than just fabric and threads. It's a form of self-expression and a way to stand out from the crowd. Grady Gear is more than just a clothing brand. We're a community. We're here to inspire and motivate you to embrace your true self. We are a locally owned small business who do custom clothing orders too. Find us at GradyGearCompany.com.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio. I'm really excited. I'm sure you all know this, that tomorrow is Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and I'm pretty sure everyone must know that, right? Of course you do. Tomorrow, I am excited because we're going to be talking with author, researcher, and lecturer Troy Taylor. And Troy wrote probably one of my favorite books, especially about Lincoln, and that's called One Night in Washington, The True Story of America's Most Haunted President. And this book is outstanding, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of things I did not know about Lincoln from a supernatural level, and it's just full of great information, and Troy is full of great information. He's going to be joining us tomorrow to talk about that. And then on Thursday, we're doing a replay with guest Steve Shankin, and he wrote the book Stealing Lincoln's Corpse. So it's a double night of Lincoln, and you got to tune in. It's going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it. But we're having quite the incredible conversation right now. We're talking about experiencing possession. Deb has had this happen to her a long time, especially when you were dealing with alcoholism. I just want to quickly remind people, because we haven't talked about this at all. You can schedule a reading with Deb. Go to refineddivinepsychic.com. Once again, that's refineddivinepsychic.com. You can schedule a reading with her. You can see what classes she's offering and take part in them. Especially after listening to tonight, I would think that it's worth kind of seeing, especially if you feel like that maybe you need some guidance and maybe some enlightening in certain areas. Check out the classes, check out the retreats. Also on Facebook, you can just go to Refined Divine Psychic Medium. Just type that in, Refined Divine Psychic Medium on Facebook, like the page, and you're going to find out everything that Deb is up to. What do you have coming up, by the way? Anything?
Yeah, we're in Stevens Point this weekend on Saturday. I'm doing the 11 o'clock gallery. Where are we at, Dave?
The Holiday Inn and Convention.
The Holiday Inn and Convention Center this Saturday as my gallery. I'll be there doing in-person readings from 10 to 5 with Rooted Holistics.
That's fantastic. And that information is going to be on Refined Divine Psychic Medium on Facebook. So go there so you can find out how you can not only go to that event, but go to other events as well. It's certainly worth it. And then also remind everybody that a week from tomorrow, February 19th, Deb will be back on the program, and we're going to be doing one question readings. Speaking of questions, can you take some from the comments regarding what we're talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Chantel had, and this is, and I'm gonna interject here if I may first. Chantel had she's going out to a haunted location. She's worried about spirit coming back with her, something coming back with her, and that's understandable. What a lot of people like to say is, oh, well, you just make sure that spirit knows that they're not allowed to come back with you. And yes, that is the case. But one of the things I think, Deb, that a lot of people forget is that you actually need to ground and take care of yourself before you go into those situations. That's actually bigger than asking them not to come back with you. And so I know I almost forgot her question. Her question is, what can you use to protect yourself against low energies? And I also presume like spirits at these locations.
Yeah, so you need to be in a higher frequency than the spirit is at. So the spirit is going to lie at frequencies of, self-hatred, self-doubt, self-criticism, frequencies where you're not loving yourself, okay? So you don't want to align with the frequency that they're at. So a lot of self-love before you go, raise the frequency, think of gratitude, what you love the most, focus on that when you're in these experiences, keeping that frequency high and keeping happiness within inside of yourself. Second is that you need to make sure that you're focusing on you and not the thing. We can observe things without focusing on it and trying to pull that towards ourselves and pull that towards our body. We can observe it without sucking that towards ourselves. And so it's like this. If you're in Walmart and a bunch of people are fighting, it doesn't bother you unless you've observed it so much that the anger is coming into your body. It's the same with a ghost or somebody who's in the in-between world. If you're focusing on it so much that you're going to pull that energy into your body. Now, this is your house of God. This is your embodiment. This is your safe place. Nothing can happen inside of this body unless you say so, okay? But the trick is that you also didn't say so. Okay. So you have to remember that yes, you said that this is my house of God, but you didn't say that they couldn't come in. Okay. So you have to make it very clear. Nothing is allowed in this embody. Nothing is here. This is my house of God. And nothing is allowed to come in. And a very simple, who does this energy in my body belong to? Can we return this to sender? Literally deletes it like that, leaves my body, doesn't come anywhere near me. Very quick and safe way to make sure that nothing is inside of you. And as Greg said, centering and grounding, the most important thing is to put yourself into the earth. So we say that we are a conduit to this earth and we are here as humans, okay? So we do that and then we center ourselves and put ourselves into our heart and then we are ready.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one thing too, for those out there, especially if you're doing paranormal investigations and whatnot, if you are in a crappy mood, if bad things are happening to you, and I don't mean spirit or anything, just you're in a rough patch or anything like that, you might be like, well, doing investigations, get my mind off of things, whatever. But if you're going into these things with that low energy, if just because of what what is happening in life at the moment, you are better off not to until you are back to a frequency that you feel like yourself, you feel in a good space, because you do need all that. It's not even about bad energies. It's about energies that are, that they just see a kind of a gravy train because you're a beacon and they want to, they like that. So you just got to really be careful.
Yeah, for them, it's about just getting the energy so that they can be more prominent here on the earth. So things that are in the in-between world, their main thing is that they want attention and your attention to them so that they can become more physical in this realm, in this earth, because they want to be humans. Like that's what's mostly going on is that, and now I'm not saying there's not things in the in-between world that are just there, because there is. They choose to be there because of their past loved ones, or some of them are just confused, but some of them do know that they're there and they choose to be there. And what they're going to do is try to draw from your energy and draw from your attention to it so that they can become more in the here and the now. Just like when we talk to people who have readings, they really want to talk to their past loved ones that aren't crossed over. We say, put a picture up of them, say their name several times, bring that energy in. Do they have some physical things that they used to love? Let's bring that in, to bring that energy really prominent so we can get a real good connection to help them pass to the other side and help them know where they are. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Joshua asks the question, and he says, I think I know the answer, but can dabbling too much in Ouija boards, investigations, and having it be a total takeover of your life invite in bad entities?
Well, now that depends on your focus. Like, is it that we're trying to connect with bad entities? Because remember, like, what we think and what we do in our actions are going to align with what our reality is. But if it is to connect with things in the in between world to help them cross and have a good intent of what we're doing and how we're doing it, then no, I mean, that can't be bad. That's in good intent. But if it's to, mischievousness and for ego and to be bigger, better, and better than the other ghost hunter and to become famous and all these things, then yeah, it can be, considered bad because you're using the in-between world to gain, right? And so we need to be making sure that we're in a good place and we're doing the right things. And, it's for and betterment for learning. As long as we're
Yeah.
learning and growing, spirit says to us that it's okay. But when it becomes egotistical and driven, that's when we need to worry.
And that's where intention really does come in quite a bit, as especially like for Chantel, going to that haunted location. I think that, when you're grounding, when you're getting yourself set up, what is your intention for that evening? It's if you're there because you want to experience any spirits and want to talk to them and have, interactions, that's fine. Others, you some of the stuff that I hear people use as intention is truly frightening, because I always think people who have these outrageous intentions, or they go into the room and start shaking their fists in the air and try to provoke spirit, my theory has always been they actually don't really believe, because it doesn't take much for you to understand real quickly that's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea at all, ever.
No, it isn't.
No. Especially like when we sage and, things like this. It's like this. If there's a man behind the curtain, let's say that we're in a circumstance and you feel frightened and there's something behind the curtain. Are you gonna go after it raging head first and just F around and find out? Or are you gonna, sit back and figure out what's going on before you enter the curtain, right? You have to be careful. Don't poke the bear. It's just like with aliens too. I'm like, don't poke the aliens. What are you doing? You don't know what they are, who they are, what they're doing, or what their intent is. Like, just don't. Like, do you like to be poked and prodded at?
Right.
No. So why would
No.
we poke and prod at others? Offering a pathway to talk, or a pathway for them to communicate, or a pathway for them to cross over is one thing. But when we're poking and prodding and trying to make a show out of it or try to make something horrible out of it, that's another. And those are intensive, just not good.
No, it's not. And I appreciate that. Now, a very serious question I have for you, Deb and Dave, is did you ever hear any more from Kenny at all?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So Kenny came to the show. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
he got a
So,
ride, right? He got a chauffeured ride to the show, right?
oh, yes. Kenny came to the show. And Kenny, so during the morning meeting, I felt him and I was like, oh, well, Kenny came to the show. And he overtook our speaker and started playing his old creepy country music for my
Oh,
opening.
wow. Oh, wow.
That
So
many
you didn't
people
hear the
heard
end
it.
of Kenny. You did not hear the
We
end of
so
Kenny from Friday. Okay.
Well, no, it was not the end of Kenny. So what I always do at the beginning of my holistic fairs, we do an opening with the drumming and, the
Yep.
circling, centering, grounding, protecting ourselves before we start the show. And then I have Dave play What If God Was One of Us at the end. So everybody can kind of, let's treat everybody with respect and love, including our people on the other side. And Kenny decided, nope, we needed some country music before anything else. But he did give it back to us very quickly, and Dave was able to catch it. But throughout the day, we did feel him when we were reading, and he was just having a wonderful time. Like literally just chooses to be in the in-between world, and that's what he chooses. And that's okay. And ones that choose that, I don't force them to the light. I just let them be. But the funniest part of all is that we were putting all the things back in the truck, and they would not fit. Everything that we brought was there and needed to come into the truck to go home, but it would not fit back in the truck. Surprise, surprise. Somebody else wanted to fit in the truck.
That's incredible. And for those who you need to go out to fairs, folks, just to see at the end of the night Dave trying to fit that jigsaw, that Tetris back into the truck. It's truly unbelievable. Now, once again, folks, I do want to quickly say, as we're coming to the end of the program, Stevens Point this weekend for Deb. She has a gallery there. As someone put in the comments, if you haven't experienced a gallery with Deb, you are missing out. You need to go. You can find out more about the event by going to Facebook. Go to Refined Divine Psychic Medium on Facebook, like the page. Also, to get your readings set up, classes, retreats, find out everything that's going on with Deb, go to refineddivinepsychic.com. And Deb, my goodness, this went by so quickly. Thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us, Greg.
Always. And then you'll be back on the 19th doing one question readings. And we're going to have Deb back again very soon to talk about more of her experiences. Everyone, tomorrow, Troy Taylor. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.